Hey friends, my name is Oleg, this is Mr. Bond. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to do a full review of Zelos Hammerhead version 2. In the past I reviewed pretty much all Zelos models, except for a few exceptions. Zelos Hammerhead is one of those exceptions. So now they came up with the second version, the updated version for their Hammerhead series. This watch is available in bronze and in stainless steel. For this review they provided the stainless steel version, which is good because I prefer stainless steel watches over bronze watches. Now before we get started with the review, one thing to get out of the way. Zelos did provide this watch for the review for free, and we get to keep it. However, there are no affiliate links, there are no trackable links, so it doesn't make a difference to me personally whether you buy the watch or not. I'm just here to give my honest review. However, I guess since I got the watch for free, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Now with that out of the way, let's actually talk about this watch. And let's start with the case dimensions. It has a case diameter of 44 millimeters, a lug-to-lug distance of 48 millimeters, a 22 millimeter lug width, and it's 17.5 millimeters thick. Here's what the watch looks like on my 7.5 inch wrist. Looking at it from the top-down angle, it doesn't look that huge. In fact, later on in this video, I'm going to show you how this watch compares to some other watches in the collection in terms of the sizing. The big issue with the size is that thickness, 17.5 millimeters. That's a very thick watch. It sits proudly on your wrist, so do keep that in mind. It will fit smaller wrists just because of that short lug-to-lug distance, but it is a very thick watch. It is also a heavy watch. This one weighing at 247 grams, sized for my wrist. So if you're not used to wearing heavy watches, or if you don't like wearing heavy watches, this one will sure be, at least at the beginning, a bit of a chore to wear until your wrist gets used to the weight. The one they sent me has this blue bezel with a purple dial. Now I know what you're gonna say, it doesn't look like a purple dial. And that's true. In most of the lighting conditions, it looks very dark. It looks like a dark blue or even a black dial. However, if you catch it in the right lighting condition, if you catch it in the right sunlight, it really shines. You can really see that nice purple color. The case material on this watch and the bracelet is stainless steel. It's all brushed finish. The brushing looks great. The finish on the case looks great. I also really like the shape of this case, and that really helps. The shape of this case really helps with the way this watch disappears on the wrist. A 44 millimeter watch, but it does wear a lot smaller. So here's a comparison of this watch to the Tudor Black Bay 58. The Tudor Black Bay 58 is a 39 millimeter watch. This one is a 44 millimeter watch. As you can see on the wrist, clearly Zelos is still larger, but it doesn't look like it's 5 millimeters larger. It just looks slightly larger. However, if you turn it on the side, you can really see the thickness of the case. And here's a comparison of the Zelos to the Seiko SKX. Seiko SKX is of course 42 millimeters. This watch is 44 millimeters. And on the wrist, they look pretty much identical. And again, that's thanks to that short lug-to-lug distance. So this one here does wear really, really well, partially because of the case shape, how the case is a little bit wider than the bezel and the dial, so it gives it an illusion of a smaller watch, and partly because of that short lug-to-lug distance. There's a helium escape valve at the 9 o'clock position because this watch here has 1000 meters of water resistance. That's partially why it's so thick and it's so big, because it has to withstand all that water pressure. It also has this ginormous crown at the 4 o'clock position. Now that was a really smart decision from Zelos to move that crown to the 4 o'clock position, so it doesn't dig into your wrist at the 3 o'clock position like it would usually be on most watches. Now this crown here is ginormous. However, I don't actually have a problem with that. Usually that would be a negative to me, but I think on this watch it fits really well. It is also a really good quality crown. The knurling, the grip on it, the thread, all of that works really well. It is also a loomed crown, which I will show you in a few minutes here or so. The caseback is a screw down caseback, of course, because this is a diver watch with 1000 meters of water resistance. The caseback finish looks pretty good, so it's all brushed. It also has this engraving of a couple of hammerhead fish swimming in some reefs. Looks pretty cool, and of course some writing there. Zelos Hammerhead 2, 1000 meters of water resistance, Sapphire Crystal. It is a limited production, so they only make 150 watches for each color. Mine is number 48, and it also has the automatic written there as well. At the front of the case, we see a boxed sapphire crystal. It has a very slight dome to it. It is almost flat, but there is a bit of a dome. I also like how the crystal is housed. It's housed within this metal shape. It's not an octagon, it has way more angles than that. I don't actually know how many angles it has, and I don't know the name for the shape, but it looks really cool. It looks really tough and robust and tooly. So I really like that shape that houses the crystal inside of it. Not a lot of gap between the crystal and the case, so that looks really good. We also see a ceramic bezel insert. It's a 120 click unidirectional bezel. Here's the bezel action for you. It sounds really good. It's really solid, very easy to grip. It has nice teeth to it. It has nice grip to it. So if you are planning to dive with this watch, even in diving gloves, I don't think there will be any problems rotating this bezel. It also clicks into place very satisfyingly, and it doesn't have any backplay whatsoever. The design of the watch is a very subjective thing. Some people like watches I don't like, and I like some watches that people don't like generally. Well, this one here I really like. I'm really happy what Zelos did here in terms of the design. So first of all, the dial, as I mentioned before, it has that nice purple color to it. It plays with the light really well. I also like that minute running track and the recess of applied hour markings into the hour running track. The Arabic numerals for the minute increments or the second increments. The fact that the font for 1000 meters of water resistance is in yellow to match the yellow seconds hand. I like these chunky big hands. Now I know a lot of you guys don't like the chunky hands on the watch. I think on this design, on the stuffed big case, those chunky hands really work well. The Zelos logo by the 12 o'clock position. I also really like the integration of a date window. Now you know me, sometimes I love a date window, sometimes I hate it. This one here is integrated really well. The background color of the date window matches the color of the dial. White font, the date window is also just the right size, so all of that is executed really well. Also, take a look at this loom. It's incredible. I think by this point we expect Zelos to have fantastic loom, but they somehow outdo themselves each and every time. The bezel is loomed, the dial has plenty of loom, the hands have a lot of loom, even the crown is loomed. Stainless steel versions of this watch come on a stainless steel bracelet. The bracelet is excellent. It is very tough, it's very chunky to match the design of the case and to balance off the weight. Otherwise the head of the watch would be way too heavy and the watch will be way too top heavy. The clasp is redesigned. I really like what they did with this clasp here. So if you bought or if you have seen reviews of Zelos swordfish watches, the clasp was kind of a negative in that watch. It was a little bit too chunky and the design wasn't that great. They redesigned the clasp so it's a lot thinner. It fits flushly to the wrist, and the overall just aesthetic of it looks really cool. It is a secure clasp with 4 different micro adjustments. The bracelet does have screw-in pins. It also has, of course, solid lugs, and it's a very fluid bracelet, so it's comfortable to wear. However, I do have to say one thing that will be a negative for a lot of people, the fact that the watch doesn't have a diver extension. Now for a 1000 meter professional diver watch, because that's what it is, a 1000 meter professional diver watch, it doesn't have a diver extension. That's a negative to a lot of people, not to me personally because I don't go diving, I don't have a diver suit, but nevertheless I know that a lot of people that are buying these watches will be looking for that diver extension. The watch also comes with a rubber strap option. Rubber strap is really good. It has these big holes so your wrist can breathe easily. The packaging is all usual. It has that wooden box, it has the watch roll, it has the metal warranty card. I actually did a full unboxing video for this watch on Instagram, so if you are following me on Instagram, you've probably already seen that unboxing video, and if you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, please do so you don't miss those unboxings in the future. The movement powering this watch is the Seiko NH35A movement, 24 joules, 41 hours of power reserve, hacking, hand winding, quick set date. It beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour. This one here is fairly accurate. I'm getting within 7 seconds per day. The watch is also available with the ETA movement, ETA 2892 caliber movement. Great movement, and the difference between the two watches aesthetically is the fact that the ETA version has a see-through case back so you can see that movement. Not very practical if you ask me on a 1000 meter diver watch, but nevertheless you can see that beautiful movement through the display case back on the ETA version. And of course that watch is priced for more. That one costs I think $600 versus this one here. The launch price until January 1st is $369 or $370. So the way Zelos sells their watches, usually they have their pre-launch price. So for the first 2 weeks or the first 3 weeks or so, they have a lower price at $370, and then later they raise it by I think either $50 or $100. So after January 1st or after January 2nd, this one will be priced at maybe $450, something like that. So what do I think of this watch at this price? It's excellent. It does have some negatives, as I mentioned. It's very thick, it's very big, it's heavy, so you have to like these type of watches. You have to have the wrist and the frame to pull off these type of watches. If you don't, of course, don't buy this watch. So in that price category, the sub $400 price category for micro brand watches, there's quite a bit of choice. There are watches with better specs. However, I think the execution on this one is really good. One thing I will say, I wasn't going to complain about the movement in this watch, the Seiko NH35 version, because yeah, it's a nice movement. It's not high beat movement, but for the most part it will get the job done, and in this price category it's an alright movement. But Zelos have recently come out with their Mako version 3 watch, the 40mm diver watch. Hopefully I'll get a chance to review that one in the future. And that watch is priced at the same price as this. It has 40mm diameter, and it also has the Miyota 9 series movement, the high beat movement. So clearly that movement is available. They know that the movement exists, and the watch is priced the same as this one, so I'm guessing it probably has the same level of finish as this watch. However, it still has the better movement. So if that's available, why not put that Miyota movement in this watch and just make it kind of best bang for buck watch. But other than that, very solid watch, gets thumbs up from me. I appreciate you watching this video until the end. Please like it if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you don't want to miss videos like this in the future, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this Zelos watch. Are you going to pick one up? Are you letting this one go? What are your negatives? What are your positives? Leave all those thoughts below. I always enjoy reading them. By the way, today on my wrist I'm wearing a vintage Semir chronograph from 1950s. I did a full review of this watch. That video can be found on the YouTube channel. I will also leave it linked in the description below. Also in the description below, there are 2 other links. Number 1, there is a link to bondnativestraps.com if you're looking for a good quality native strap and want to support this YouTube channel at the same time. Buying one of those native straps is a good way to do that. And the second link is a secret link. Have a look if you're curious. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had fun. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Shh, 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 shh. Sit. Bond. Sit. 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 Shh. You're okay, baby. You're okay. Alright, let's film. You ready? 3, 2.